You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy whose house has an actual wiggle room, Pete Schwaba.
Hey, welcome back to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen. As we kick off Act 2 here. Missed you during intermission. Thanks for sticking with us. It is Friday, and we are barreling towards the weekend in cold, gloomy summer Wisconsin. But it's great to have you with me anyway. Let's warm our hearts tonight with some laughter and some more talk. It is a bar band Friday night. Rokker will be here in just a few minutes, filling in for Terry Barr with new music and great conversation. Right now, I'm very excited to welcome my next guest. I have tons of comedians on the show, and I think I might have found the hardest working one in all of show business. After doing a deep dive on this guy's career, Steve Hofstetter joins me now over the phone. Steve, how are you?
I'm good, although I don't work as hard anymore. I'm getting old now. So,
well, you're younger than me, and I will say I looked at your website
well, then my
before.
Apologies.
I cannot believe everything you've done in your career. Like, just even tangentially from comedy, like you're a very busy guy. You've got charity and TV gigs and all kinds of stuff. So it's great to meet you, and let's cover as much as we can in the short time we have together. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. You know, all things considered. It's nice to be reminded why I moved south. Just because the idea that this is June is silly.
Oh gosh. I will say this is rare, and this is coming from a guy who lived in warm weather for a long time. It is tough to take at times, but we welcome you anyway. And where are you based out of, Steve?
So I'm based out of Charlotte, North Carolina now, but
okay.
I grew up in New York, so you know I'm used to winters that become summer for 2 weeks, and there is that, you know, brief little period between like, oh, hey, this is terrible and we want it to be warmer, and like, oh my God, why won't it get colder?
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So how long have you been in this racket? How long have you been doing stand-up, and where did you get your start?
I've been doing stand-up 23 years, so my career is almost old enough to rent a car.
Sweet.
I started in New York. I went to college in Manhattan, and I went to a bar one day that had a comedy night, and I was watching it, you know, being like, oh, I could do this. And a lot of people have that thought, and a lot of people are wrong.
Right.
It took me a while before I could actually do this, and that's just how it works with everybody.
Yeah, eventually you find your stride, and if someone's been doing it for 23 years, you know that they did at some point. So you're in town. You're in Northeast Wisconsin, this area. Tell us about that this weekend.
Yeah, I'm at the Skyline in Appleton. I think we're like 22 tickets from sold out right now, which is great because it's a weekday night.
Yeah.
You know, I love a weekday night show because it's full of people who don't care about a weekday morning, which is just a much better crowd. I've been to Skyline plenty before. It's great. And, you know, I'm looking forward to it. I just had shows in Milwaukee and sold out one in Madison right after Appleton. So it's going to be fun. Thanks, Wisconsin, for coming out.
Yeah, well, we like to laugh. It's and there are great comedy clubs here, so it's good that you're here, and I'm excited to hear how the shows go. I have to ask you something. Okay, So when I was a comedian, I started like in 1990, and I only did it for about 7 or 8 years. One of the guys who was very good to me starting out was Dan Whitney, also known as Larry the Cable Guy. So he got me in at a club in Milwaukee, which ended up being one of my favorite clubs, got me into some clubs in Florida. When I was looking at your Wikipedia page, you did something. I would just love it if you could tell the story because it sounded hilarious. Yeah. And I don't know if there was actual bad blood there or if it just read that way, but it's a very funny story.
Well, there wasn't bad blood at first okay, so here's what happened. So Dan Whitney, Larry the Cable Guy, is a comic who used to have a bunch of different characters. he had Larry the Cable Guy, but he also had like an old Jewish woman. He also had a gay guy. And like he would do a lot of radio with these characters. Larry the Cable Guy is the one that took off. And Dan kind of became him. It's, humans are infinitely adaptable. And suddenly he was getting all this praise, and he went from a private school kid from Nebraska to telling everyone he was a pig farmer from Florida, which he's not. And it just all this stuff that was, he went from satire to validation. So I released an album called Cure for the Cable Guy because I was tired of, people yelling "get her done" at shows and stuff like that. And,
Right.
And the premise was that, I wasn't the cure for the cable guy. We all are. Like this easy homophobia and racism and stuff that he was doing in his act is not what we should do. Now, he thought it was fun satire at first. And then the second week it was out, it sold more copies than his album did. And then he did not find it funny anymore. I actually hadn't thought about it for many, many years. This was in 2006 that it came out. I hadn't thought about it in a very long time. And then I wrote a book about my 6 years as a stand-up. And so as I was writing the chapter about that album, I was like, I should look up what he's up to. So I found him on Twitter. Of course, I was blocked. So even though I've never really interacted with him. So I logged out. This is, while I was still on that hellscape of a social media site. I'm not anymore.
Right.
But I logged out because that's all it takes to see someone who blocked you. And I found his whole account was an old man version of of the satire character. It was all kinds of stuff about like pandemic denial and anti-BLM and just all kinds of stuff that the young Dan Whitney would not have agreed with.
Yeah.
And it kind of broke my heart.
Oh, man. So where are you guys at now? At least when and I didn't mean to bring up something that would take you back to a bad memory, but it looked like, or at least what I read, was that you guys kind of ended okay. He just said, "Get her done."
No. We've never ended. The only time we've actually interacted was there was a radio show that had us both on, which was an ambush for both of us. We did not know that was going to happen. But there was a radio show that had us both on. And so, I talked to him briefly, and I asked him, I said, how do you feel about your character going from satire to becoming validation for people? And literally he said, "Get her done." And I was like, well, we don't need to go into this now, because I was hoping to have an intellectual conversation with someone, and you decided to be a cartoon character.
Oh, I did not mean to bring that up if that was it. I truly read that like, oh, they seem to have worked everything out, and they're like, pals now.
Not even remotely.
So I apologize for that then. You mentioned Twitter. I'm on it so reluctantly. I found Blue Sky. I love Blue Sky. I'm on Facebook, whatever. Where can people follow you and learn more about your career and where you'll be performing?
So pretty much everywhere except for Twitter.
Okay.
I have a very large Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. I'm on Substack now, which I thought was just this thing where people would post columns, but it turns out it's a wonderful way to interact with people. Super supportive community. And a lot of creators are doing collabs on there, which is really cool. Because like all of a sudden you'll see two different people you follow and be like, oh, they're just hanging out on a live stream now. And that's just a really cool thing about the way entertainment is right now. So,
that's fantastic.
Look, you just Google Steve Hofstetter. If you spell it wrong, Google will correct you. It's fine.
Yeah, that's how so I just did that. I did a voice Google thing. If you start with comedian, or maybe you don't even have to, your name comes up because of your social media presence. You've got like 2 billion views or something like that, which is pretty incredible. You are a New York kid, as you said, a Jewish comedian from Queens. I think you know where I'm going with this. Who are your influences, and is he one of them? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was like, you asking me about Seinfeld? I've only interacted with him once, but he did speak at my sister's college graduation.
Oh, that's cool.
She went to Queens College also, but my influences growing up, when I was real young, my dad used to play me albums for, George Carlin and Dick Gregory.
Nice.
He also played me Cosby, and I never really liked him, and I feel so vindicated now. Oh, do I feel vindicated? And so, I think Carlin and Gregory were probably my biggest early influences. I got to tour with Dick Gregory for a week, and that was just the coolest. And I brought my dad with me, which was incredible. Because my dad saw Dick Gregory when my dad was 19 years old. And so to be able to like actually introduce them was just the coolest. And then, as I got older, I got real into Bill Hicks and Mitch Hedberg. And the thing that they all have in common is that they did stand up about their truth, whatever that truth is. Right. And, that's what I gravitate toward also.
That's so great. My guest is Steve Hofstetter. He's a stand-up comedian, immensely successful. You can see him at the Skyline Comedy Cafe this weekend in Appleton. So we have a few more minutes with Steve. You mentioned Bill Hicks. So incredible. I did have the opportunity to work with him in Milwaukee in the 90s. Hedberg, too. Here's a great story. I was headlining in Grand Forks, North Dakota, probably before I was ready. And Mitch Hedberg says to the club owner, come on, man, you got to headline me. You got to headline me. He was middling Steve, and he was great. And I'm like, how is this kid middling? A week later, he's on Letterman, and then he just takes off.
Oh my God! And that was that was the Letterman. I know that set.
Yeah, and he was a good guy too. That's what made me like. We hit it. He was a really good guy, and I love seeing people like that. That, like as you say, are beholden to the truth, talk about the truth, and just have that kind of success. It's very cool.
So one of my favorite Hedberg stories, and a friend of mine used to open for him. And one of my favorite Hedberg stories was they were in a hotel, somewhere after a show, and a bunch of comedians hanging out. And they're not being too disruptive, but I guess they get a noise complaint. And so a security guard comes up from the hotel and, tells them they have to keep it down. And Hedberg just goes over to him and just goes, how much money would it take for you to go away?
Oh, man, that's fantastic.
Did
you ever have an opportunity?
I never got the chance to work with the guy, and it's one of my big regrets in comedy that I did have the chance to meet him, and I passed it up for a party like a dummy.
Oh no!
And then he died a couple months later, and I never got a chance.
Well, I'm gonna. I don't mean to turn this. I don't mean this to make this a pissing contest of regret. Yeah. But Bill Hicks was, when I worked with him in Milwaukee at 1 a.m. after we were hanging out at the club, he said, if you were a really good guy, you'd drive me to Chicago so I could get a Polish sausage at Maxwell Street. And I'm like, I really liked him, and he was already a legend. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I've been drinking and everything. Same thing. About, I don't know, maybe 6 months later, he had passed away. And I think his was one where people didn't really know he had that cancer, except for those close to him. But I still regret that. Like 3 hours in the car, there and back with Bill Hicks. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that would have been incredible. I mean, I got a chance to meet Mitch's widow.
Oh, okay.
And the person who that joke of I don't have a girlfriend, I just know a woman who would get really upset if she heard me say that. Like right. That's who it was about. And I got a chance to talk to her at a show, and she was just such a sweetheart. And I realized like something that forever changed me in that moment, that I was like, oh yeah, the rest of us lost a hero.
Yeah.
She lost a hero and the person she loved. Like wow. That is, and so often when like a celebrity dies, people who that person touched their life through their art have every right to grieve.
Oh yeah.
But we often forget that, there are people in their lives who are also grieving. And
Absolutely.
That's a completely different level.
Dude, I would love to have you back on when we have a little more time. I know you got to get going. I hope you have a great show tonight. I hope Wisconsin warms up for you, if not weather-wise, laughter-wise, and I hope you have a great time here. But I would love to have you back when we can really dig deep.
Yeah, absolutely. You let me know.
All right. Thanks so much. That's Steve Hofstetter. 22 seats left, folks, in Appleton. Get your tickets to Skyline. He's a great comedian, one of the hardest working I've ever seen, if his website is accurate, and I'm sure it is. We are coming right back with more Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba after this. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older, then we wouldn't have to wait so long? And wouldn't it be nice to live together?
Welcome back.
In the kind of world where we
This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me on this Friday night edition of our fine show about entertainment, where we talk about movies and TV and music and comedy and theater and all kinds of fun stuff and anything fun happening in Wisconsin. Our question of the night is, who is your favorite movie or TV dad? It is Father's Day on Sunday, and that is what we are asking. I think we did something similar to this a year ago, Conrad, but it was worded a little differently. But in honor of Father's Day, who was the best movie or TV dad? And going to the text line now, we got to catch up on some texts here from the 414 Tom in New Berlin. Oh, Tom is talking about Charo because one of the texters from last night said they didn't understand Charo's fame, because that was our question yesterday. Who is a celebrity whose fame you just don't understand? And Tom from New Berlin defends Charo and says she had high energy that you can love. I know friends like that. Well done, Tom. Paula, Conrad's mom, says Charles Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie. That's a great dad. Did your mom make you watch Little House on the Prairie?
No, she did not. Yeah.
That's a good mom. Thank you, Paula. I hope you have a great Father's Day on behalf of Conrad's dad. Nancy on the text line says Alan Epps, played by the great Judd Hirsch in the show Numbers. Boy, I never watched that. Did you ever see that show?
Never.
It's like from the early 2000s. I think it was like a critically acclaimed show. I have not seen it, though. But thank you, Nancy. Thank you for the text. From the 951, Sage Weil, our fearless leader from Madison, says Atticus Finch. I saw that, and that reminded me of my own father. My father, Tom Schwaba Sr., I'm a junior, always reminded me of Atticus Finch, because he took he's a trial lawyer, and he took cases where he went to bat for the underdog. He's had cases where he went into a courtroom and there was a slew of lawyers on the other side. And he, typically he had a lot of success in defending people who couldn't afford lawyers and, going after insurance companies, trying to screw people over. So I love that answer, Sage. And it reminded me of my own dad, just 2 days away from Father's Day. So have you seen To Kill a Mockingbird, Conrad?
Yeah, I actually...
Great movie.
I had to read it, and then we watched the movie, I forget what grade it was, but yeah, it's a good book really and a good movie.
And Robert Duvall played Boo Radley, a very young Robert Duvall. Jody Hinman on the text line says, or on social media says, Andy Griffith. Oh, that's a great... I'm surprised we haven't heard Andy Griffith yet tonight. Thank you, Jody. That's a great one. Listening on WMDX, Everett from Sun Prairie says, dude, I missed the first half, but it hasn't been mentioned. As far as favorite TV dads, Reginald Vell Johnson as Carl Winslow on Family Matters was amazing. As a kid in the 90s, it was one of my favorite shows. He brought the perfect mixture of exasperation, warmth, fatherly wisdom, humble acceptance of indignant situations, and humor. He was also perfect as his role as the hero, advocating response officer in the American Christmas classic Die Hard. Love the show. Thank you, Everett. Yeah, he was outstanding in Die Hard. That actor just has a likable persona. He's in everything he's in, especially in Die Hard. He was like kind of the heart of the movie in a weird way. Great text, though. Thank you for listening, Everett, and thanks for the nice words about the show. Tony the Trucker says, Pete, Fred McMurray, my three sons. Watched The Godfather. Oh, he segues and says, watched The Godfather of Green Bay last night. Very entertaining. Had me in stitches. Oh, thank you, Tony the Trucker. I hope you didn't watch it while you were actually trucking. But he says, when holding a door, I always say good morning or afternoon. When no response, I say loud and clear, well, I guess not. Still usually no response. But the looks I get are priceless.
I'm going to take a trick from his book next time.
Yeah. You know what, though? It's kind of, I don't know. You could say something that comes across as passive-aggressive, like, you're welcome, or... We'll do the leg sweep. I don't know, but...
or shaking your head violently like I did.
Yeah, exactly. You pull a neck muscle because you're so outraged. Going to the stream, we got some text we need to catch up on here. PJ says that potato needs to be printed on a T-shirt. PJ, one of our favorite couch potatoes. Thank you, PJ. We're thinking about it. He says, haha, I got Pete to check out The Hills Have Eyes. Yeah, you did. And there's another one. That one and It Comes at Night. Those are my two I need to see, and I got to check The Hills Have Eyes. So thank you for that, PJ. That's what we're about here. It's an idea exchange. What haven't you seen? What are we watching? That's what we're doing here. PJ says, if you're disturbed by what you have watched already, I tried to warn you. so far I'm okay with it. I haven't seen anything that terrible. Maybe I'm not as far into it as PJ thinks. But PJ says TV Dad would be Al Bundy, hands down. Yes, another along the Homer Simpson lines, I think. A Fox TV Dad. There you go. Dave Kunish says Bosch. I'm with you, Dave. Dave and I are Bosch buddies. Love the show, Bosch. And, he's a pretty good dad to Maddie. I think Bosch is a good dad. You still have time to get your text in, folks. If you want to let us know who your favorite TV or movie dad is, let us know. We are here on a Bar Band Friday night. Terry Barr, folks, is absent once again. She is taking a well-deserved vacation, and Rokker is being a real trooper. He is filling in for the third week in a row. And, I've interacted with Rokker, I would say, over the last year and a half since I've been with Civic Media, but I've loved, really, I love when he fills in for Terry because we get to see, it's just been good getting to know him. So I really appreciate Rokker filling in, and I hope Terry's having a great vacation. So, Conrad, I would love to indulge you. I know you have something you're just chomping at the bit to play here in honor of Brian.
Yeah.
To me, in honor of Brian Wilson. Do we have time?
Yeah, we can make it work. This is Adam Sandler in 51st Dates. Whenever I hear "Wouldn't It Be Nice," this is what I think of.
Okay.
The Beach Boys? How nice of that man to give me a CD that will remind me of all the wonderful times I shared with his daughter. Wouldn't it be nice if we were older and we wouldn't have to wait so long? You know it's gonna make it that much better when we can say goodnight and stay together. Why would you do this to me?
Why is he singing it? He doesn't need to sing it. He just ruined Brian Wilson's beauty. We're coming right back. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Time to check out original music with Bar Band Friday on Nite Lite. Now, your host, Pete Schwaba, and special guest, Terry Barr.
Welcome back. Hey, it is a Bar Band Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. We do this every Friday, and we find new music and great conversation from whomever we have on from Max Inc. Radio. Typically, it's Terry Barr, and she is taking a well-deserved vacation. So we have gotten to know our pal Rokker, her co-host at Max Inc. Radio, over the last 3 weeks, and it's been a blast to have you on the show, my friend. How are you doing tonight, Rokker?
I'm doing great, Pete. Thanks for having me once again.
Well,
it's a lot of fun.
It's been a blast, and I checked my email, and I said, we haven't heard from Rokker. And I said, hey, Con, can we check in with Rokker? He comes back, and he goes, he's just still preparing the show because you wanted to give us different stuff than you gave John and Gordy today. I mean, talk about being a workhorse. Really appreciate that, but not necessary. So, much appreciated. So, this is great. So where do we start, Rokker? Are you your dime, your dance floor?
With Max Inc. Radio, Saturday nights, 6 p.m. to midnight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Great show.
All local Wisconsin-made music. We have interviews with local artists, Wisconsin artists, and local personalities that we find, and then we have a live performance in our studio of a band each week. And this week we have Atwood Music Hall's Melissa Broom. Atwood Music Hall is the new live music venue here in Madison on the east side. It was an old church, and they redid it. It's absolutely amazing. They've released a lot of pictures. Atwood Music Hall, Melissa Broom, she'll be in. We'll talk to her. Natty Nation, they are 30 years of Natty Nation. They're celebrating their 30-year anniversary. They are, now legends in Madison in reggae. We're going to talk to Ja Boogie. And then Live in the Lair, our live performance is with Erin Oakley, and she is an acoustic pop singer, songwriter, and she's from Madison, and we're going to hear what she has to do. Now, Natty Nation, I was just talking about them. 1995 was when they started. For 3 decades, Natty Nation has been the cornerstone of Midwest reggae music scene, spreading messages of unity, love, and social justice through their powerful sound and unwavering commitment to their roots. And, I've known these guys for this long. They are just awesome friends of mine. We'll have them in the studio tonight. They're Madison Area Music Association Hall of Fame inductees with over 30 Mama Awards.
Wow.
And Saturday, June 21st, they're going to be celebrating 30 years of their reggae revolution at the Atwood Music Hall. And I thought we'd listen to some of their music from their first album in 1996. This is Natty Nation and a song called Arise.
The wicked and a dreadful time, Mama Gideon. Yeah. Got to stand up firm on your feet. Yeah. Help the weak when you know you are strong. And your reward will be in Mount Zion. Arise, rise up, Rasta children, the time has come. Arise, Rasta children, got to take a stand. Arise, Rasta children, yeah. Arise, rise up. I want you blow for me now.
Very nice. That was Natty Nation and the song Arise, brought to you. Compliments of Rokker from Max Inc. Radio. So they'll be on tomorrow night, not live in the lair, but you're going to be talking to them on Max Inc.
Yeah, it'll be an interview. We'll kind of be talking about their history, what they're doing now, their upcoming show, and just kind of hear from them. It's 30 years as a band. Most bands I don't even think hit 3. So being around for 30
right.
is quite a feat.
And 30 Madison Area Music Awards in 30 years, that's pretty impressive too, Rokker. That doesn't happen very often, I would imagine.
And yeah, right. And the Mamas, I think, has only been around since 2003. So they won.
That's outstanding.
It's interesting math, right?
Yeah, right. Well, very cool. Okay, so you got Natty Nation will be on tomorrow night, and then you've brought some other stuff we can hear too. I love this.
We can keep rolling through it. Well,
Definitely.
Jenny Lupine and Jamie Poster, we talked about her last week, actually. We previewed this show. She was a Nebraska native, a physical therapist and gymnast coach, but she needed an outlet for music, so she became a singer-songwriter. She's paired up with rapscallion and Faces for Radio guitarist Jamie Poster. Saturday, June 14th, tomorrow night at the Beer Rock in North Sherman Plaza Center in Madison. But she plays all over Wisconsin, so we'll keep an eye out for her. But I thought I'd bring in a different song this week. This is called Street Dance from her 2022 EP.
Love it.
Baby, I saw you laughing across a crowded street dance. Sidewalk talking with the guys, oh so easy on the eyes. Look on over to your right. People all around us, but you're the only one I see. This crowd keeps pushing us together, moving closer now than ever. Boy, you're standing next to me. Now you've got me dreaming. Take me by the hand and lead me, dancing in the evening. Chestnut eyes are all I'm seeing. The music's playing.
That's great. That was Street Dance from Jenny Lupine, accompanied by Jamie Poster. So they're playing at, where are they? Oh, North Sherman Plaza, Beer Rock.
The Beer Rock. Yep, the Beer Rock is a little kind of like a restaurant bar, and they serve beer rocks. I guess the closest thing I could think of, and you would probably relate to it, is they're like pasties. They're kind of like German pasties.
Yeah.
Very
nice.
They're really good. So yeah, they serve that and beer, and have occasional live music there. And tomorrow night will be Jenny Lupine. Great little place if you come to Madison.
It says she's a Nebraska native. Is she Madison-based now, Rokker?
She's Madison-based now, and she actually goes between here and Nashville and kind of down southwest as well. Kind of a traveling person, but based here in Madison, yes.
Very cool. My guest is Rokker. It's a bar band Friday night. Rokker is one of the co-hosts of Max Inc. Radio, along with his pal Terry Barr and co-host. Terry's on vacation. We'll be back next week. Rokker, we've been having a blast as he's filled in the last couple weeks. So, all right, I know this name, Rokker, the next one you have. I recognize this name. Son of a Midwest legend. Tell us about Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts.
Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts. They are a really good band, of course, from Rockford. Rockford, Madison, and Milwaukee is kind of that area where bands really travel between, which Cheap Trick, of course, his father, Rick Nielsen, is the guitar player of.
Yeah.
And so we love to see Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts come through here. He's going to be playing at the Marquette Waterfront Festival in Madison. That's at Yahara Place Park. Right on the Yahara River. It's a great little festival. It opens up the festy season here in Madison. June 14th and 15th, that's this weekend. The Marquette Waterfront Festival is the official curtain raiser to that East Side glorious season of summer festivals, of which Atwood Fest is one of them. So they're celebrating their 36th year this weekend.
Wow.
And they have all kinds of talent, 2 stages, national touring acts, local acts, regional acts. 11:30 on Saturday is the Dandelion Dash. So bring your kids and they can have this Dandelion Dash. It's a lot of fun. And then the next day, Sunday, at 11:30 is the Fool's Flotilla. And people make their own boats and they dress in costumes and they float down the Yahara River to where the festival takes place, and then the festival starts. So it's the Fool's Flotilla. You don't want to miss that. And then Miles Nielsen, his band is going to be playing Sunday, June 14th. They're the headliner on the main stage at 6:30 p.m. And Rick Nielsen's kid, you got to see him rock. They're from Rockford. Right now, let's listen to some Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts. This is Hands Up.
I'll take you back again if you give me everything. And if everything's anything, then I want it all. Put your hands up, put your hands up. If you're innocent, it'll be clear. Put your hands up, put your hands up. If you're innocent, it'll be clear. I'll take you back again if you give me everything. And if everything's anything.
That's great. That was Hands Up by Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts. Miles Nielsen, of course, is the son of Rick Nielsen, one of the founders of Cheap Trick. Boy, you guys have so much access to great music, Rokker, just in that triangle, as you said, but mostly in Wisconsin, it seems like. It's just great.
Yep, that's true. Wisconsin is a great music state. I find in all corners just amazing musicians. And in Madison, we're really blessed to have a very high concentration of not only places to play, but just great musicians down here. And Milwaukee, of course, has an immense scene.
Yeah. All right. So this is my favorite band name of the bands you brought tonight. Tell us about Electric Spanking.
Electric Spanking, that's right. They are a band that they came out of the Baghdad Scuba Review. They're kind of a funky side project of a lot of those guys, a kind of jam band. The current lineup consists of 4 members with deep roots in Madison music scene dating back to the late 90s. And June 21st, they're going to be playing at, we just mentioned it, the Beer Rock at 7 o'clock. That's over in North Sherman Plaza in Madison. And then June 23rd at the Up North Bar at 6 o'clock. So a couple of shows coming up right around the corner for them. Let's listen to what the Electric Spanking sounds like. What do you think they're going to sound like, Pete?
I'm very curious. I don't even want to venture a guess. Electric, I guess.
Electric Spanking. It feels good. This song is called Good People.
There are more good people than there are bad people. So good people take over the world. There are more good people than there are bad people. So good people take over the
I would not have guessed funk rocker, but that's a great sound. I like that.
Aren't they a good band?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be really fun. June 21st at the B-Rock, 7 p.m., Madison, and June 23rd at the Up North Bar. You know, they were on hiatus for a while, but it seems like they're popping up with these shows. Maybe they're just getting back together. I sure hope so. I'd love to hear a new recording from them.
My guest is Rokker. It's a bar band Friday night. We'll have more with Rokker after a short break, and we are jamming through a list of really great bands here tonight on Nite Lite. From the 608, the answer to our question, my favorite TV dad is Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's Evan from Madison. We'll read Steady Eddie's text when we come back, and we'll have a few more minutes with our pal Rokker on a bar band Friday night on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. You got the Civic Media Radio Network.
Here I start, and it breaks my heart. When did I fall? I wanna cry, cry, cry alone.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Welcome back to Nite Lite. I am Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me on this Friday night as we head into a Father's Day weekend together. It is a bar band Friday night. On Monday, we will have nutritionist and dietitian Sherry Stoka from Wayless MD will be here on Monday night. If you want to ask healthy questions, and then the owner of the Time Community Theater, Phil Kraus, will be here on Monday as well. Our text line, Steady Eddie, says, Pete, favorite TV dad, Wally and Theodore's dad, Ward Cleaver, played by Hugh Beaumont on the TV show Leave It to Beaver. He could be tough, but was always fair and loving. Pete, if you were a TV dad, what would the show be called? Steady Eddie, P.S. I think Terry Barr is now officially on sabbatical if she's not back next week. Send out a search party, but Rokker rocks too. Damn right. Thank you, Steady Eddie. I think if I had my own... If I was a TV dad, my show would be called, in honor of Conrad, How I Met Your Schwaba. Because that's his favorite.
That's terrible.
That's a great name.
That's
Come on,
terrible.
look for it next week on CBS. We've got a few more minutes with our pal Rokker, who's filling in for Terry, as we mentioned. We just heard Electric Spanking, Rokker. Loved it.
Yeah.
Tell us about Automatic Lover.
Automatic Lovers. So they are just a great band, horns, real Latin feel, and they just got Joey B. Banks on drums. Who Joey B. Banks is one of the more popular drummers in Madison, playing with Steely Dan and really a plethora of other bands. Too many to list here. And they are playing at the Mama Awards this Sunday, June 15th at 7 p.m. That's at the Atwood Music Hall. You can see the theme. It features live performances by Automatic Lover, M. Shays, Red Door Duo, who we had live in the Lair last week on Max Inc. Radio, Jazz Flux, and the Mason Meyer Band. There's so much more. It's hosted by Cooper Talbot, and guess who else?
Rokker?
Terry Barr.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So she's got to be back pretty soon here. I'll be doing the red carpet, actually, in the cocktail lounge. Starts at 5:30, and the actual show starts at 7. It's the Madison Area Music Association Awards show this Sunday, June 15th, at Atwood Music Hall. I have a song from Automatic Lover. This is called Sick Love.
Tell me that you're pregnant, that you wish you had man, that I am the biggest thing in your whole world. Porfa no te vayas, luego tú me extrañas. De tu vuelo soy tu cielo, soy tu sol. Somos un poema que se escribe con un siempre sin medir, sin razón como jugar. Somos la aventura y se repite cual dementes inconscientes. ¿Dónde va a parar? Tell me that you want me, tell me that you need me. Codependently we're talking about love. Dime que te encanto, que lloras por mí tanto. Y yo también porque
Atwood Music Hall will be rocking on Father's Day. I think that's my favorite tonight so far, but this is all great stuff, Rokker. Should we try to
they're a great band.
You think we could get one more in quickly?
Sure. Let's go. Oh, by the way, I thought I'd tell you that my favorite father on a TV show.
Yeah.
I was listening there.
Awesome.
Arthur, King of Queens.
Oh, there you go. Boy, we didn't hear Arthur tonight. That's a great one.
That's such a good one.
Hey, happy Father's Day to you too, buddy, as well.
Oh, thanks, Pete. I appreciate it. Frank Martin Bush and the Names. Have you heard him yet?
No, I have not.
He is going to be playing the Sessions at McPike Park. That's here in Madison. And it's at the Garver Feed Mill. Garver Events brings 4-day festival to Garver Feed Mill in Madison coming up June 19th through June 22nd. Headliners include Armchair Boogie, Frank Bush and the Names, Iris Dement, and the Los Tex Maniacs. And
Nice.
you can learn more about the sessions and view the full music schedule at sessions at sessionsatmcpike.org. And of course, the sessions was held in a park here in Madison, which is why they have the website. But they've recently moved it to the Garver Feed Mill, which is now a community, like space. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
And let's see, they also have a 2-day flea market there, an electric car show, food trucks, cold drinks, and more. Thursday, June 19th, the Johannes Wallman and the Precarious Towers, they're opening up the show. Professor of Jazz Studies at the UW, Johannes Wallman, is just amazing. And then it's Frank Martin Bush and the Names at 9:30 p.m., where Heartland Twang meets Modern Grit. Frank is from Wheelhouse.
Love it.
There's the news. They're a great local band that everybody loves. Frank Martin Bush and the Names. This is I Met a Girl.
I met a girl down on the corner of 4th and the Pearl. She was in town just for the weekend, from an island on the edge of the world. Out of a dream, blue eyes and jeans. She asked if she could take a picture with me. She wrapped her arms around my waist.
Very nice. We're running short on time. Rokker, thank you so much, buddy. This is so much fun. Max Inc. Radio. Check it out tomorrow night from 6 to midnight. And be sure to check out Live in the Lair with Aaron Oakley. Thank you so much, buddy. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Pete.
All right. Happy
I
Father's
appreciate
Day.
It, man. It always is.
Yeah, Rokker. Check out Max Inc. Radio tomorrow night, folks. 6 hours of amazing entertainment. Thank you to Rokker, and thank you to all my guests tonight, Steve Hofstetter and Stephanie Gurno. We will be back Monday night. I hope everybody has a happy, safe Father's Day weekend. And that's Steve on the text line. Conrad's dad weighed in. Who's his dad?
Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon.
Well, not
Or
actually.
George Cooper, right?
Lance Barber.
Lance Barber. Oh, he's crushing it tonight. All right. We'll see you Monday, folks. Can't wait. Have a great weekend. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on behalf of the lovable producer, Conrad. Good night, Wisconsin.
That's what prime boys ought to do. I want this speech out of me. It has stunted my vocabulary.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.